All right, people, good morning. We're out here on the farm. This morning we're going to run you through most of the animals that we have and what we got going on. First, we're going to take a look at our laying hens. So we'll flip this around and get a shot of these guys. All right, here's our laying hen set up. We got them in a pasture. We've got some netting around it just to keep them more or less contained. There's our chicken tractor. This is that's an old cotton trailer, which they have a lot around Casa Grande area, old ones that are not being used. So we ended up buying this from an old guy and kind of modifying it a little bit. We still need to do a few more upgrades, but it's working for us now. So you'll notice you got a few of these ladies have already gotten out, getting onto the grass. That's because we've got a sunroof up on the chicken tractor. I'll give you a look at this. It's about 20 feet long. So we can just hook it up to our quad or something, and we'll tow this around and drop it off for a few days and move this around. So we've got kind of a protected area around the back side. That's where most of the ladies are. That's where we got roosts in there for them. It's getting a little loud. So we'll let them out. So you can see that they get out here and they're on grass all day. They're also obviously getting some layer pellets, but they're out here pecking and scratching and on grass. You can see we've got the sunroof up here. So some of the hens will decide they want to jump out the top, get a little early start on the grass in the morning. At some point we'll maybe put some more roofing on there, but for now we're in decent shape. So they're pretty much protected back here from wind and rain on the back half where they roost, and then we've got nesting boxes up top. We've got a couple different watering systems. One's this Poisson water, and we've got a 20-gallon drum in here that we fill up, and it'll fill in there, and then we just have a traditional water right there. So that's these ladies. So they've been on this spot for about a week, and seem like they enjoy it. You can see they eat plenty of grass and find whatever bugs. We'll run our cows in this area as well. So they were on here before, so they're able to scratch through some steer manure as well and kind of spread that around. So we'll head down and take a look at the cows. But you can see them down here. You can see this little road that's being put in. It's going to stay a dirt road, but this is basically our property line. This stuff to the south, that's our neighbors. And we've got this stretch here and the house over there. But we're putting a fence up here. Once we get the fence up here, our rotational grazing will be a little smoother. Right now we showed from our last video, it's a little bit of a little goofy the way we do it, but it works. So that's how we're rolling. So here's our two boys over here. So you can see the different pastures. This stuff to the right we had the chickens on there for a few weeks ago, so there's a couple of spots where they kind of knocked some stuff down. Other than that, it hasn't been grazed yet. So this, we're kind of going from the oldest to the newest to start put stuff that they've grazed. These little spots are about 20 feet wide that we graze them on. So you could see that what we did 2 days ago and then where they're at now. So they knock it down pretty good, usually about 2 days. For some reason, they like closer to the fence on the far side. They don't knock it down quite as much for whatever reason. But anyway, they got a little bit of shade in there as it gets hotter, which they kind of enjoy. Not so much in the morning, but. So there's our setup with just our temporary fencing. So that's those boys. We'll move those later today, probably this morning sometime, and get them on this section that's right here. You can hear some sheep over here too. Those were our latest addition. We've been wanting to get sheep and been worried about having the right fencing and stuff for them. And then we realized that we had some portable pens that we could use. These are our chicken tractors. We had about 4 of these that we were running our broilers in. And so we decided, well, these will work for sheep until we get the fencing in. So we've had these guys about 2 weeks. We'll take a look at them. So we got 2 ewes. One of those we bought with triplets. That's the one that's coming closer with a little bit of white on her head. Now these are Dorper. And then we've got the one behind her that's got the full black head and little spots on her side. She's due at some point. She's showing signs and getting a little closer. Hopefully we can be out here when she delivers, but we'll see about that. So this chicken tractor, now we can call it a sheep tractor, basically lifts up here. There's that little pin that we welded on. We'll put the tire on and on either side, and then we'll just come up to the front and pull it forward, which we'll probably do. Usually I'll do it twice a day. We'll do it a little bit later. They still got a good amount of grass in there, but you can see we've been doing this for about 2 weeks, and I'll give you a shot of where you can kind of see where they've grazed. But one thing about the sheep is they'll take that down all the way to the bottom, where the cows will kind of start at the top and do the whole area, kind of eat more even. But so these are areas that we've moved them in. You can see sometimes if we move them twice a day, they don't need as much. If we move them just once, this was just a one move yesterday, so you can see that they got that area down a little bit more. So this is some other areas you can see on the side, how much they'll take out. So we may run them against the fence here, but we're gonna move the cows through this area anyway, so they'll knock a lot of this down. So that's our gang this morning. There's the three little lambs. There's a male, he's on the left, and then there's 2 female lambs, and they one's quite a bit smaller than the other. The male, he's growing quite a bit. Actually, we'll just open this up. But they're growing very well. That male, he's really putting on a lot of weight. Actually, they're all growing. They're kind of proportionally about the same, but they're all growing pretty good. This is our lady that's gonna have babies before too long. Her back end's getting a little bit loose, and hopefully within the next week, she'll have another set of lambs. Well, that's about as easy as it is to move them. Usually during the day, if I'm going to move them again at night, I'll keep the wheels on. I'll usually take the wheels off at night, just make sure some coyotes don't come, and then maybe they'll give them an easier path to dig under or give them trouble. So, but we haven't had with these pens, with all the chickens we've ran in them, and these guys, we haven't had any issues with any predators. So we're keeping that up. They like every time they get moved on to new grass, they act like they haven't seen grass before. So anyway, that's how we do that. But it's nice to put them onto some fresh stuff. You'll look and see that they look like there was still quite a bit of grass there. You can see that's overnight, so that's about 12 hours on the grass. This one over here is about 24. So there's a difference in how they'll take that down. So it's a little longer. It'll obviously recover a little faster as well. But either way, we're gonna be bringing the cows this way as well. So there's still a lot of stuff out on the backside of this. So that's this side. We're gonna take a run over and see our little garden now, and we'll kind of show you the stuff that we're trying to grow in Arizona in the summertime. That's right. Okay, we made it over here to the garden. This is actually a little area that previous to us owning this was just a big stall that they'd put horses in for the most part. So it never really has had stuff planted in it. When it would get wet in a couple of the bigger rains, water would sit in here and puddle in. It took quite a while for it to actually drain into the ground. So my daughter and son-in-law, they've done a lot of work trying to just get different areas, kind of till specific rows on here, and then they've mulched them good and put some compost and stuff on them to kind of get those going. So this is just the first couple months of growing on here. We're experimenting with stuff that is hopefully grows good in the heat. So we'll kind of walk through what we got going on. Down this first one, these were just planted, I think yesterday. My daughter these are sweet potatoes. She had a couple of sweet potatoes in a pan with compost, and it was sprouting out, and she took the sprouts off, stuck those in water and let those grow, and now she's transplanted those into this little spot. So we got a couple that are pretty decent size and one little guy that's just coming up. So hopefully these guys will take hold, and these sweet potatoes will start growing. They're supposed to do good in the heat. I'm more partial to just normal potatoes, but it'll be fun to grow these. These are a couple of pepper plants and then a couple of tomatoes. So there's a couple of tomatoes that are growing on there. You can see it in there, but I think we might have missed part of our window on these. Probably need to get in a little earlier than we got them in. We got one little pepper growing on there. It's supposed to be a red pepper of some sort. So hopefully that grows and we'll have one pepper to eat. But I'm not sure how they're gonna do throughout the rest of the summer. But a lot of this is just to get some stuff in the ground and hopefully help this soil out. This one you can kind of see that these are cantaloupe, which I'm probably the most excited about. These we planted, it's probably been over a month. And they sprouted after about 10 days, 10, 12 days. And it seemed like they took their time growing. Just the size of a leaf was about all they were. And for a couple weeks, and now they finally started to take off a little bit more. So I think they're 90 days out or so before we're seeing cantaloupe. This stuff, you can see we kind of took a bunch of the cow manure and mixed that into the ground. So hopefully they've got some decent fertilizer. We'll probably do that again before too long. You can see these white buckets. There's a few of them around the garden. You got one over here as well. But we'll look inside these These have actually, my daughter got, and they have worms in them. So I didn't know that you could actually do that with worms and put them in buckets. But anyway, the bottom is cut out and there's holes on the sides. But you can see these are red wigglers, I believe. And I guess she's feeding them potato skins and whatever. And you can see little, yeah, they're starting to go. But I guess they'll kind of run around in there and also get into the dirt and do what worms do. So anyway, she got those at a farm a couple months ago. I didn't really know they had worm farms, but I guess they do. There was one local, she went and got a bunch of those. I don't know how you sell the worm, if you sell them by the pound or the bucket or the jar, I don't know. But anyway, she bought a bunch, so she's put those in. Hopefully they'll help out the soil as well. So there's our cantaloupes. They seem to be doing good. These are just some sunflowers. I don't even know what kind of sunflowers you call them, just your old, the kind that grow along the side of the highway. So she got these plants from a friend and planted those, so they're helping out the soil as well. Got some bees that are coming in to say hi to them as well, which is nice. So she's got some other sunflowers, either the jumbo sunflowers or giant sunflowers. These she's planted from seeds, and these are probably growing the fastest of anything in the garden. These guys are just a couple weeks old, and just about all of them have taken off. One little guy down there, he didn't make it, but the rest of these guys are growing good. They're about 6, some of them maybe 8 inches tall, and they should get 7 to 10 feet tall. So they'll be fun to watch when, and those sunflower heads will be, they get probably 10 or so inches wide. So they'll be fun to see. And some basil, which is also supposed to do well in the heat. They're just starting to come up. Get a little shot at that. And so there's the basil. She's got about 8 or 10 of those. Look like that most of those are coming up reasonably well. And then across here, we've got our corn. Our corn is probably 6 weeks old, maybe, probably 7 weeks. Anyway, it's coming up good now. We did the same thing. We kind of just fertilized that with some manure and some mulch that, I think some mushroom mulch or something that my daughter got. Anyway, so these guys are doing good. They took a little while to kind of get going, but now it looks like they've got their footing. We're getting excited because you're starting to see some of this stuff, which I don't know what that's called, but that looks like a good sign that they're going to do something. Anyway, we are probably going to plant another set of these just to the right of them, and we've tilled this ground up a little bit. We'll have to do that again and probably put some more stuff on it, and then we'll have a second set of corn that'll come in a couple months later, so we'll have a extended season of fresh sweet corn. So that's pretty much the garden. So as we get into the fall and stuff, we'll find other plants that we can get in there that do better when it cools down. But I think most of these plants should do pretty good in the sun and the Arizona heat. So if you got any other suggestions on stuff to grow, we'll be happy to leave it in the comments, and we'll try those out as well. Around here, they grow a lot of cotton and a lot of corn. I don't think we need to grow any cotton, so we're going to stay off of that one. But if there's something else that would be good for us to grow, let us know. And we will see you next time, and have a good one.